What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Joby, the Natural Gearhead. This episode, I'm going to show you how to bypass your heater core. What are we doing it on? My daughter's S10. Why? It started leaking out of nowhere. You know, that's how it goes. So stay tuned. Up under the hood here. Now, this is a 4.3 GM vehicle, okay? This is going to cover a whole bunch of vehicles, from my old small block Chevy over there to LS style going into the firewall. You should have two ports on the heater core. It's an in and an out. It's basically a small radiator in there. Fluid comes out of the motor, goes into one side, flows through the heater core, and then comes out the other, goes back into the engine, okay? So it creates a circuit, okay? A cooling circuit. You don't want to just cap those off because it interrupts that circuit. A lot of guys do that. You don't want to do that. Just keep it flowing. I'm going to show you a few different methods on how to do it. It should be really easy to do, no problem. And then you can come back. It'll give you time to get to this heater core job, because let me tell you, I had one of these too. The heater core exploded, went all over the floor. It was horrible. And to change it, you gotta take the whole dash out of this thing. You gotta drop it down. Most modern vehicles are gonna be the same way. You gotta drop the whole dash down. It's a big job, and it's terrible, basically. And this one, being a Florida truck, the sun has just, I mean, the dash is in good shape. It looks nice, but it's real brittle. So you go pulling that down, it's gonna be cracking and pieces breaking off. It's gonna be a mess, and it's Florida. How much heat do we need in our vehicle? The heat is right there staring at me all day, trying to kill me, okay? So we don't really need the heat. Now, in the Great White North, yep, you're gonna need the heat. So you're gonna wanna get this done, you know, as quick as possible. I know you only get about, 4 weeks of summertime. Down here, we have like 2 weeks of winter time, where you gotta put a hoodie on. I gotta get my winter sandals on. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a few different methods on how to do this. It's super simple, and like I said, it could be free depending on what you have laying around your garage or your shop. And it'll apply to a whole range of vehicles, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do is go over here and show you like the parts that I bought, the tools you might need, and run, depending on your job. I'll show you a few different things so that, everybody's gonna be a little different depending on what they have in their vehicle, on the tooling that they may need or parts or whatever. But I'll show you the parts and tools that I have and kind of what I paid for them, and then we'll jump right into this thing and get it bypassed, get this baby on the road. Sorry. So these are some of the tools and stuff you may need doing this job. And again, every job is a little bit different, so you may or may not need some of this stuff. You'll have to kind of look at your vehicle and see what you got going on, as in like clamps. So if you have the style that you got to squeeze together, you need a pair of pliers, squeeze those to be able to pull that clamp off. If you have a worm clamp, you might need a flathead. You might need a Phillips for those, right? Or you might prefer nut drivers, right? If they have the hex on them instead of using a Phillips or a flathead, something like this, that'll get you going there. Also, getting the hoses off, okay? If you're pulling off the heater core or usually the intake or water pump, they can get like frozen on there. They get like rusted, and they're very hard to get off. Sometimes you're thinking they ain't coming off, it won't move. So if it comes down to that, if you try everything, twisting it and all that, and you cannot get it off, and you have to get it off, you can cut it with a razor blade. So you don't want to cut into the nipple, you just want to barely slice it over the nipple, right down that rubber, and just peel it back a little bit with your flathead, and just twist it, and it'll break loose, come off. And you should still have, the heater hoses are usually long, so you could trim it off and reconnect it later whenever you need it again. Okay, some other options. You could take a screwdriver. I bent one up like this. I use this all the time for hoses, fuel hoses, radiator hoses, heater hoses, all that stuff. So this, if it's tight and you're twisting, you could take this, and your hose is here, you could slide that right under the end and just kind of work it, and then go around and work around that hose to loosen it all up. Twist it, it'll slide off for you. Okay, here's another tool you can use. This is to get hoses off, fuel hoses and whatever. I'm sure they make them in different sizes too. This is the only pair I have, and I use it a lot. So same thing, hoses on like this, you're twisting, you can't get it off, you can slide this in around the hose in front of it, right? So the connected, let's say you're connected like this, you'll slide it right in, and when you squeeze this, it'll push that hose off, okay? So those are nice to have. You don't have to have them, but they're nice, okay? So maybe some zip ties, because mine, I'm going to leave the heater hoses on there that are there already. So they're going to be kind of big, flopping around. You might want to zip tie them, secure them a little bit, get them out of the way. Maybe some flush cuts or dikes, whatever you got, or whatever you, diagonal cutters, whatever you call them. A knife, a razor blade, you know, you can use a razor blade. But flush cuts are the best because you can cut that zip tie right off and it won't cut you later, okay? This is another tool that you could use for zip ties. If you've never seen one of these, basically zip tie goes around, the end goes through here. This will tighten it up and cut it off flush so you don't cut yourself later. And it tightens it up real tight and it's nice. Maybe a pair of gloves, right? These are nitrile gloves or latex, whatever you want, just to protect you. You don't have to, I mean, radiator fluid ain't terrible, but chemicals on your skin is never good, okay? Maybe some towels, clean stuff up if you make a mess. Also, here's the parts for this application that I'm doing. I got a couple different ones. This is out of the help section. It's a Dorman, and there is no part number on here. So I don't know, but you can get it at like Advance or AutoZone or O'Reilly's or online. I try to buy local just because we need these parts stores to be around, guys. If everybody's buying online, they're gonna have a problem, right? And they might go out of business. So it's nice to be able to run down to a parts store and get some parts, okay? So I don't want them to go out of business. I try to buy local as much as I can just to keep them going. But sometimes you gotta buy online. It is what it is. But this right here, most heater hoses, and again, they're all going to be different depending on your application, but I usually work on GM stuff, and almost always they're two different sizes, 5/8 and 3/4. That's real standard for heater hoses. This is a 3/4 to 5/8 adapter. So when we pull them hoses off, I'll be able to connect them together and use the clamps that are existing and put on here. This is a plastic version. Okay, and here's the brass version. This one does have a part number, a Dayco 80424. Okay, same thing. You can see it's a reducer, so you'll be able to connect those two together. And this was $6, and this one was $5. It was actually cheaper than the plastic. This one was like $6. They also make a kit that's basically a piece of rubber heater hose that's in the shape of a horseshoe. Does a 180, and it comes with these exact fittings right here. And that way you can just take the hoses off, connect it. That rubber hose will do the 180, go back to the other side, connect it there, put the hoses on, good to go. Now, why didn't I buy that? I know that's a good question because it's literally made for this, but I didn't buy it. Why? Because it's between $19 and $25, okay? These, I got two of them. I'll throw one on the shelf, whatever one I don't use it for something else, and $5, $6, okay? I didn't need to spend it. Right, it is what it is. You can buy that kit if you want to. Also, that kit's going to add 2 more hose clamps in the mix. What's your potential leaks? So for me, I just don't need it. Okay, and when we get in here, this will all come together when I get in here and really start showing you what's going on in here. If you're not familiar with this kind of job, so that's kind of the setup on what you need. So let's hop in here, take a look at what we got, and get right into this thing and get this thing bypassed so we can get back on the road. You can see the 2 heater hoses go right here into the firewall. These are your 2 heater core. Your heater core's on the other side of the firewall, goes down into the box behind the dashboard. So these are what we're going to be dealing with in this application. I'm going to pull these 2 worm clamps off, pull those off. One hose is 5/8 and one is 3/4. That's what the adapter's for. I'll just connect them together, clamp them, and it'll be done. Now you can cap off those heater core ports if you want. I'm going to leave mine open because the heater core is bad already, so it doesn't really matter. But use your own judgment, whatever you want to do. If you want to cap them, leave them open until you get to it. I'm going to be replacing it, so I ain't worried about it. The other way you can do it, like I said, there's other options. I want to change that heater core and reuse these hoses. I don't want to cut them off, okay? So I want these hoses intact. If you don't care about them, where one comes down, goes to the intake, and one comes down, goes to the water pump, okay? Almost all your engines are going to be the same. One usually goes to the intake or the thermostat, somewhere on the intake, and usually the water pump, and that's how the circuit works. So you can cut that hose down here by the water pump. So this is, you know, like I said, they're 2 different sizes, but you can cut it here, cut this one over here, turn it, put your adapter in down here, and keep it nice and tight, and that way you can clamp it and be done. I know like LS engines, they actually make a hose to go between these 2, and you could buy that and just put the hose on the 2 and be done. This one they don't. I never seen one actually made for this besides that horseshoe one that I saw that'll go up there. And that's kind of a universal one for all kinds of different vehicles. But I could make, take these off and get 5/8 and 3/4 inch heater hose out of my shop in there and make one go from here to here and just do that. But I don't have a reason to in this application. I want to just leave these hoses. The hoses are already there. They work. They're fine. Pull them off, put them together. That'll bypass it, keep the circuit going, and we can be back on the road. And when I change the heater core, be as simple as pulling that adapter back out, hooking it back up to the heater core, and we're good to go. So let's get started getting this thing apart. All right, guys, after I showed you all them tools, boom, one got a different tool. So again, every one of these jobs is gonna be a little different. All those tools I brought over, of course, I still needed something else. Now, I could come in with a stubby flathead, get that one or this one. This firewall's kind of bent out. I couldn't get my nut driver in there. Couldn't get a regular screwdriver in there. So I'm gonna go with something like this. And you've seen this in my other videos. This is, you can get this anywhere. It's got a socket style on one end, and then you can put an apex bit in this end. So you can put, whatever, Phillips, flathead, whatever you need. I'm gonna go with the deep well here. And this gets in here real nice. So you just get on there, loosen this up, get that clamp loose. It's just kind of tight in here. I would use power tools. Now, you're gonna lose some fluid here. It shouldn't be, hopefully not, a ton, but get that loose and out of the way. Get this one here loose, slide it back out of the way. Now keep those clamps, because we are gonna use the same clamps. So we'll twist these guys. Oh, that one twisted, came loose. Let's see if we can get this guy loose. See, this guy's a little bit tighter, so let's grab something real quick. Start out with this guy. See if we can pry it out. Get in there and kind of get him going. Oh yeah. Yep, that one's got some, she don't want to come off. I'll try the twist method again, because it's usually what works. Yep, this one is definitely on there. Give it a twist. There it goes. There it goes. Oh yeah, she's corroded. Oh boy, camera moved. Try to fix that. How's that? Can you see? All right, well, I don't know. I can't see what you're seeing. All right, let's get this thing off. Hopefully we don't lose a lot. Let's check it. Let's just do a little bit and see. Oh, that's beautiful. That ain't bad. Yeah, right there on the distributor cap. Perfect. Oh boy, this guy. Definitely some more. Let me get a rag. All right, got my rag in there. Yeah, this one's definitely more corroded. Holy cow. Oh, yep, there's some more fluid in that one. So I got my rag there. Yeah, look how corroded that is. Jeez. Yep. I'd say that's our problem. She's probably corroded so bad it's got a little rust hole in there somewhere. So now let's get these things connected together. And at this point you can flush them out if you want or whatever. But we hadn't had no heating issues, so I'm not going to do that. Probably should, but I flushed these not too long ago. I flushed out the whole system, so let's get these babies connected together, see what's going to work good, and let's do that real quick. Let me grab the adapters. Stand by. So we got the nipple in here, as you can see, but I cannot hook these two together. I was hoping that I could, just like this, right? Let's say we do that. Well, you got a kink here, you got a kink here. Not a good situation. So it starts making you think, hey, maybe I should have bought that piece. Because what it does, it would have this and another one here and a loop, and we'll go right here and just plug right in. But I'm trying to save a buck. Here we go. I've got to fight it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually slide this hose out and see if we can do this. See if we can do a little reroute. This is what I'm saying. You always run into stuff, right? That's cars for you. And when you're trying to make stuff work, that's how it goes. So we're going to route this around. Around here. This little piece here will help keep it from chafing on this throttle bracket. We're going to go under this. Why not? It's looking fine. All right. Looks like we're getting closer. Now let's jam it together. See what that looks like. Okay, let's take that. Oh yeah, look at that. It's gonna work out good. And it'll flow just like that, come through here, go right back around, and we're good. So we get these clamps all tightened up, and I'm gonna leave that loose. Hopefully it don't leak right on top of the distributor. If it leaks, that kind of sucks. But all right, let's get it tightened up. So we got it all tightened up. This all looks good. No chafing here, anything like that. This should be fine. And the only place it would maybe chafe is right here. I mean, it's just barely sitting on there, but it's got this stuff to protect it. So, just, you know, that's on there. I'll keep an eye on it. And we should be good. This looks, I mean, this looks nice. I could zip tie it, I guess, if I wanted to, but I feel like, man, it's not going anywhere. Where's it gonna go? Yeah? Where's it gonna go? Nowhere. It's going nowhere. All right, let's fire it up. Make sure we don't have any leaks. Cross our fingers, and then we're gonna send it. All right, so this thing's been running for about 10 minutes up to operating temperature. Our hoses are nice and hot, so we know it's flowing through there. No leaks. I did cap these. I wasn't going to, but turns out in my shop when it was warming up, I was looking around, putting stuff away, stuff like that. I found 2 caps for this exact situation. So they fit really tight, the 3/4 and the 5/8. I just slid them on there. There's no pressure or nothing, and that thing's on there tight. It'd be hard, I mean, getting it off, you have to really work it to get it off anyway, so those are gonna be fine. The big thing is no leaks. All right, guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one. I appreciate you watching. I'm hoping that you learned something on bypassing your heater core. And again, each vehicle is gonna be just a little bit different. I mean, the situation's gonna be the same. The concept's gonna be exactly the same. It's just, if you have a 5/8 and 3/4 inch hose, those are the adapters that you need there. If you have a 5/8, 5/8, you just get one that's 5/8 and 5/8 and stick them together. You just take 5 minutes, go out to your vehicle before you do it, look at the hoses, look at the style clamps you need so that you know what tools you need. You know, if you need the screwdriver, you need the nut driver, or whatever you need for those style clamps. And also the adapters you need to get. You want to get the right ones the first time so you don't have to do it again. And that 180 hose, you know, it would be a good idea, but it's a little bit more money, right? I think that one was $6. That adapter that I actually used was $6. That thing's between 19 and 25. So it's up to you. I mean, it's worth it, but it's up to you how you want to do it. It would definitely make it easier to just stick that on and be done. But again, the algorithm for YouTube tells me I have to say it, so I hate saying it, but please like, subscribe, share, comment, all those things. It helps the algorithm pick up the channel, let the channel grow a little bit. And it's cool when you guys comment and stuff like that. I mean, I reply to all the comments, so being able to interact with you and everything online that's pretty cool to me. So again, hopefully you liked the video, and we'll see you in the next one. How it works is oh boy, that wraps it up for this one, guys. Oh boy. Battery's almost dead. Great.